Welcome back to Dreamhack Summer 2011. You would not believe who the happiest man in the world is. It's this guy.
Yeah.
For more reasons than we are willing to go into on air. But the important thing to note is we are about to go into NaNiwa versus Rhett. The players are literally starting immediately because they are going to be going on lunch break as we are right after this. Keep in mind, Rhett is 3-1 in his group. NaNiwa is 4-0. Whoever wins this, guaranteed the #1 spot in the group.
That's a pretty important spot to take, really. And both these players, absolutely insane players, and I'm so excited to see this go on. And take it away, Sean.
Well, in the south position, we have the man that I know has so many fans. We are in his motherland. It's Dignitas's NaNiwa. There's the Vuvuzela making a presence. Yep, thank you. And, of course, in the north position, he has an enormous fan base of his own. One of the Brood War legends, now a StarCraft 2 legend in his own right. It is Liquid Rhett.
And these players, Sean, I mean, Rhett is on form now, and it's been shown in the NASL. It's been shown here at Dreamhack. And as you can say, he's already 3-1 in this group. And NaNiwa, on the other hand, MLG champion. And this guy is amazing. He's also on the way to Korea too, heading down there with Thorzane to compete in the GSL, which is going to spark a lot of interest to continue with the GSL, and that is something I'm looking forward to. But right now, more importantly, Rhett versus NaNiwa.
And I mean, NaNiwa, very, very meticulous in his play. We saw this probe that went to build the gateway wasn't a probe pulled off mining. He actually rallied a probe, so that way it had perfect efficiency. Little tiny things NaNiwa loves doing. But per usual, we're also seeing a very early probe scout. NaNiwa, one of the safest players who you will ever meet. And he's up against Rhett, who's one of the strongest macroers you'll ever meet. Oh, look, a little drone managed to sneak his way out there. Rhett, of course, well-versed in the dances that go on in Brood War, in particular of trying to force that hatchery to go down early. We even saw NaNiwa trying to build a pylon to block it, but didn't realize that Rhett had already constructed that hatchery.
I'm interested to see if Rhett is actually going to open up, with this fast third that he's been using over and over and over. Though I don't think it's a wise decision to do against NaNiwa for sure, because this guy is going to identify what's going on and will punish you for it. There's a reason why he was the MLG champion, and also winning other big events too, like the Gadget Show Live in Birmingham, taking out a series of awesome players there. And this is going to be a treat, really. And as you do see, we have the second gas going down now for NaNiwa, saving up a ton of chrono boost, though.
And look at this. We see a pylon going down now. This is an excellent way to psych out a Zerg player, forcing to bring a whole bunch of drones down. But Rhett did not fall for it at all.
Doesn't matter. Well, actually, we've seen that with Rhett in previous games. He doesn't fall for these tricks of where a pro player will push out and try to pressure you, forcing you to make a bunch of units. Rhett builds just 4 extra lings, and then just in case, and then immediately goes back into drones. And as you can see, is powering through, getting that queen out now, and just powering away with drones. Really interested to see if he does go for that. Well, he was not going to go for that expansion, surely, because he's got that gas still mining. And now we do have a Stalk actually going to get a kill on an Overlord very early on.
This is a real annoying way to start off a game, to lose an Overlord at this early stage. This can mess up a lot of your timings, but we're seeing Rhett overcompensate by making a lot more early Overlords. And interestingly,
Twilight Council.
Fast Twilight Council. We're seeing NaNiwa get 2 early Stalkers. Now, you could rush for Dark Templar, which would betray your build a little bit. You'd be forced to make only Zealots, but instead, NaNiwa building the Stalkers, waiting a little bit, and then starting this Twilight Council, has the option to go DT, has the option to go Blink. We'll find out what's going to happen soon enough.
I'm pretty sure he's going to go... actually, I don't know. He's building a Sentry, which kind of confuses things. Usually from this, it looks like a DT expand. It's a very safe opener. But adding on this Sentry is going to deny that, as you can see, is adding on the Blink. And we do have a probe on the left-hand side of the map and a good location to put down a pylon. We could be... Oh, actually 3 gates. So we're actually going to see a Blink 4 gate here. And is Rhett able to identify this, or will he be able to... Well, he's actually adding on a Roach Warren now, but he doesn't have any units in key spotting locations. okay, he can see that NaNiwa is about to move down here, but what does that mean? He doesn't really know anything, and it's going to be interesting to see if he can survive against this, because Roaches, without speed, without any upgrades, is going to be very, very hard to deal with a bunch of Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, I mean, NaNiwa going for a kind of a risky play on this map, and oh, so smart. Building the expansion nexus, and look at the timing. A little after 6 minutes is always when you will see a fast expand go down. Rhett is going to completely misinterpret this at this stage.
And he's got no idea about this happening. And that speedling runs by, doesn't even go and check up this location, which could be considered a bit of a mistake. Overlord is going to get there eventually, but is it too late? He's going to go ahead and check the timing on that Nexus. Is it still there? Yes, it's still there, but he also noticed that's a lot of Stalkers. Cancels the Spore Crawler, which was initially going down, realizes that he doesn't need an extra Spore Crawler, and should be able to identify soon. Sees that, okay, Link's gone, there goes Nexus.
Uh-oh, here comes NaNiwa's huge push. We see that he's gotten a big swell of extra minerals, given the fact that he did cancel that Nexus, chrono boosting all of his gateways.
The Overlord sees it.
The Overlords see it. It looks like Rhett is going to have enough time to prepare, but will he have enough units popping out? You see NaNiwa slowly advancing forward, and he reveals the blink. This is a huge sign to Rhett. It looks like he's even throwing down extra spine crawlers. Rhett realizes he is in a terrible position. He has pulled all of his queens forward. Now the Blink Stalkers, now even getting up onto the high ground, picking off more Zerglings, and NaNiwa advancing rapidly forward to an early kill.
And all these Overlords out of position are going to be able to snipe down, which are going to hurt his supply count. Queens and even the 1 sentry to force field that, and wow, this is going to be really good. He needs to get a good surround. Drones are being pulled off as well, Sean.
And another force field at the ramp. Roach is helpless to try to come down to reinforce. We see NaNiwa has a lot of Stalkers in the orange health, but with that Blink Micro, he can easily cycle those ones back. GG. And there's the good game. NaNiwa with a solid early win against Rhett.
Mind games at its finest.
Yeah, NaNiwa is now 1 game away from being 5-0 in his group. These are groups of 6. And again, that'll put him in a #1 seed spot. Now, the structure of this tournament is round-robin groups. Top 2 in each group advance to a single elimination bracket. So it's really important that these players battle it out for as many #1 seed spots as they can. Well, you can't get like 5 #1 seed spots, but it's important to get as many wins as you can in the round-robin stage, because if it's just first and second, any loss at any point could mean that you're just 1 game away from being eliminated.
And unfortunately for Rhett, does go down there, and if he does lose this series, that would put him at 3-2, which is not really, a comfortable location to be in. So he really needs to get this win as well. And if any map, I don't know which map he'd choose. I suppose he'd prefer to go for a larger map. Though at the same time, if he goes for something like Tal'Darim, it might be a bit dangerous because of the locations of probes being hidden. And he has gone ahead and chosen Tal'Darim, choosing a large map that suits his style, be able to get out that very fast third if need be, or can go in a defensive style. And the key point also in that previous game was he just couldn't identify what was going on. And plus the mind games from NaNiwa with that fake Nexus and so on, very hard to deal with. And we're going to go straight into this second game now.
Now, Rhett, definitely an extremely strong macro player, but will he commit enough to the scouting and have good enough reads on his opponent? That is always the vulnerability of a big macro Zerg. So if you would like NaNiwa to win this game, give a cheer for NaNiwa. Yes, for any of you tuning in on the stream, this is the Day 9 TV tent, where we join together in StarCraft Harmony. Are there any fans of Liquid Red out there? Well, Liquid Red is currently down 0-1. He is spawning in the bottom right position as the red Zerg. NaNiwa in bottom left as the blue Protoss. And all going to come down to where that early pylon placement is. Given when he sent it out, would not be surprised to see an early expand-oriented build. And there it is. And
we'll have to see, does he decide to go Forge first or Nexus first? It looks like he's going to be scouting the incorrect way, unfortunately. Therefore, he will have to go Forge before the Nexus. Usually when you start off like this and you do scout the Zerg player first, you can usually get away with going Nexus first. And it all comes down to that 1 scout. Unfortunately, won't be able to scout here, so can't identify exactly what is going on here from Rhett. So he's going to have to go ahead and get that Forge, as you see the probe coming out now. We'll get that Forge and then shortly following up with that Nexus here. A very safe, fast expansion build. On the other hand, Rhett now at 14 supply. Is he going to be sending out this drone now to go and get that hatchery? Most likely. Going to go at hatchery on 15, actually. And we'll look, most likely when he sees this build, we'll go ahead, go up to 17, and get the spawn pool quite late, squeezing out those extra free drones.
Well, weirdly enough, it's not a forge going down for NaNiwa. It's a gateway followed by a gas. That is a very unusual play. The only thing that really comes to mind where this is typical is when a player goes for a hyper-fast Stargate and then expands immediately after it. It's a great way to do a ton of pressure, feels just as strong as your usual one-base Stargate, but you get an expansion much sooner. One of the advantages of Tall Dream Altar. So we are indeed seeing the spawning pool go down for Ret. He's sending out another drone. Let's see if he's going to gear up and do yet another expansion as we saw him do in his series against Tyler.
This is interesting. He's skipping the Zealot, and I suppose he should be going ahead and throw the second guess down completely standard from this shortly now. Doesn't want to cut pro production, so we'll go ahead and I suppose getting the second gas now. This is going to be really interesting. Or is he just going to go one gate expo from here? He hasn't taken the second gas yet, so I suppose that he can go ahead and go one gate expo just with the gate, the cybernetics core on the front of the ramp.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of early expand builds that basically say, I hate not having Warp Gate up in time, or I hate having that Stargate be too slow. So we are seeing NaNiwa, yeah, build that Warp Gate right off the bat, so it could be a pretty typical one-gate expand. There's the Zealot blocking everything off, a Stalker going to shortly follow. And we can again see that because this extractor is going down a little bit late, that means that the speed will still be quite far behind.
Yes, definitely. And I guess the reason, I mean, why Protoss players wouldn't like to go Forge Expo, or maybe NaNiwa doesn't like it, is that it's actually really hard to pressure your opponent from that. And it's going to take a while to get up there. The Zerg player can go ahead and drone up very hard. And I suppose that's kind of almost playing into his style, Rhett's style that is. And so here we do see a 4-gate.
And it looks like NaNiwa just really wants to end this series. I mean, NaNiwa almost guaranteed an advancement through. Already 4-0 in his group, and there's the push coming out, and it looks like, oh, did he see the gateway?
One extra gate.
He saw one extra gate, but if he's very perceptive, he will know that there's this huge push coming. But it is going to be coming out mighty fast.
I mean, it's kind of... Oh, he even scouts the pylon. He must know what's going on now. Sees the Stalker and Zealot out of position. Only unit should be made by Red. Probably building a spine crawler ASAP. He has the money to do so. He needs to hold this. If he doesn't hold this, he will be going and losing versus NaNiwa. NaNiwa securing that first place position. But he hasn't actually decided to build a spine crawler. Only slow links because speed is nowhere near being done. And I think this is going to be very hard for him to hold.
Uh-oh, it looks like the Warp Gate just finished. We haven't seen any warp in, but the three Zerglings move around to the back and do begin working away at that pylon. Will the Zealots end up finishing in time? They do. So can he get the appropriate defense up? We see lots of Zerglings getting made, and just starting with that Roach production. NaNiwa coming in with so many units. One Zealot gets picked off.
I don't know if he can hold this, Day 9, because the spine crawler's late. There's so many Zealots and speedlings, but he does have a lot of links here, though. But are they enough? More Zealots being warped in. Great control by Rhett, not engaging when he doesn't have enough. Roach is coming out now, and drones being pulled off.
Oh, wow. It looks like Rhett going to have to do a very nice control job with his defense. The Roaches popping out now. Oh, it looks like he lost the spine crawler, and NaNiwa almost out of units, but will be adding in some more Stalkers. But the Roach defense from Rhett looks like it's going to be a little bit too strong, and NaNiwa is being forced to retreat.
And I don't know how he held that without a spine crawler for so long. Solid play. Does not want to go too far off the creep, though. That is a big mistake. Needs to get back on there, as the Stalkers will be able to kite them quite easily. And yeah, it looks like he's going to defend it. 46 supply versus 38 now. More units being warped in.
And he does manage to get those two Zealots up in time, losing a Queen. And uh-oh, it looks like Rhett, these Overlords at the front, causing a little bit of supply block issues. Looks like NaNiwa is not out of the running yet, but Rhett making a perfect mixture of Speedlings and Roaches. And once again, it looks like NaNiwa is getting a chance to advance forward. Can he target fire one of those Overlords down? It looks like Rhett is doing a great job of producing the perfect mix again.
Oh, he's got an Overlord on the natural of NaNiwa's base, so we can see if he tries to transition out. So he knows that he can't go for drones at all, so he's going to continue with these. A couple of sentries being walked in now, which are going to help out a bit, but these Roaches getting caught off creep once again. Oh my god, what a great force field!
And Rhett now suddenly low on units, losing the Queen. NaNiwa.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Rhett. He might actually end up losing to a 4 Warp Gate push, and NaNiwa with some great force fields going to trap the Roaches. No more Queens for Rhett, trying to build back a second one. But NaNiwa, with that relentless 4-gate and the great placement, again.
He's just not going to have the lava anymore. He doesn't have any, well, he's just gone back into gas. He took off gas, doesn't have any gas to make any roaches now, and this is really difficult. And I think that NaNiwa surprisingly manages to take this game, even though I thought Rhett looked like he held it.
I cannot believe Rhett botched that defense, but NaNiwa, again, wins with a very early play. NaNiwa undefeated in his group 5-0. Rhett 3-2 will likely advance as the second seed in that group, but still NaNiwa once again demonstrates that he has a wide variety of straight-up play and all-ins. It's very hard to predict how he's going to open.
I love that he saved up 200 gas and then just warped in 2 sentries. That actually changed the entire fight.
Oh, yeah.
And that was so smart, not to continue with Stalkers, to try and squeeze more Stalkers out to do more damage to the Roaches, but just sits back, analyzes the situation, was like, you know what would be really good right now is just a couple of force fields here, here, and here. Bam! It's like takes the game. That's incredible.
Great play right there by NaNiwa, and I have to give you bad news followed by good news. The bad news is that we will be taking a short break because Diapollo and I have been casting since around 9:30 a.m. today, so we have to, again, eat so that we do not die and continue to cast the games. But do you know what the good news is, Diapollo? What match is coming up after our lunch break?
I think this is one of the biggest for the entire day. It's going to be MC, Mincho versus Sen, and that is a pretty impressive game.
And once again, Dreamhack has only just gotten started. 2 p.m. is when the gates finally opened, and people got the chance to begin flooding into the StarCraft observing action. So whatever you do, do not go anywhere. If you're tuning in at home, definitely check out some of the other streams going on today, such as Total Biscuit, Rage Quit TV, and Icy Cup. They will be streaming other matches throughout the day. And definitely come back. The time is currently 14:48, so I believe it is a 30-minute break, 20-minute break, but I would be safe and come back a little bit early.
Indeed, and that's pretty much it for us for now, so go enjoy your time off, and we'll be back shortly. I am Apollo.
And I am Day9. This is Dreamhack Summer 2011. Group stages, don't go anywhere. We'll be back after a short lunch break.